I'm glad that race is finished. Shows we're all human, I suppose. We won 2 and lost 1, I suppose. Bugger of a one to lose.
They seem to us invincible. In style and performance that already made their mark. Their medal was to be for us, as well as them. The perfect end to the perfect story. It was a story that was to begin in athletic rags and end with athletic riches. On the world rowing scene, New Zealand was little more than a backwater. None of Oxbridge's courtly traditions here. Our rowing strength was built firmly around the grassroots dedication of the clubs. That dedication had taken New Zealand rowing from obscurity and placed it firmly centre stage. They'd taken on the world's best and won. So the story would celebrate a victory for one of the last outposts of amateurism. Even at club level, the call on time and effort is demanding. Training is often 6 days a week.
That's good. That's good belt together. Rolled up.
There's little, if any, place for social rowing. Standards are kept high by rowing only to race.
There's no need for anyone to look out of the boat. It's total concentration and dedication from here on in. Our total training has been based around this one race. Okay? This is the one that we want. Just think about it on the way up to the start. Suck that air in. Get that running through your blood, that air, that extra air, which we're going to need.
One foot in, push off.
Good luck. And don't forget, you know, tap, tap. Okay, you know. Good on you, love.
Okay, back it down, whole crew.
You'll be right. Move away before that wind blows you over.
No matter what the level, there is every opportunity to race. And in New Zealand, they race more than anywhere else in the world.
Ready to go. Thinking about it.
Are you ready?
Of course, it was no accident that we had eyes only for the 8. For 20 years, they'd been the spearhead of the nation's assault on world rowing. From fierce club rivalry, New Zealand had produced an 8 which had taken the past 2 world championships with ease. So the story would also be about the best rowers in the world. The life of would-be champions is the life of those all too familiar with the nature of pain.
5.5 minutes, no!
Wired like laboratory animals,
32.
the top rowers in this country must undergo one of the most demanding trials asked of any sportsman. For 6 minutes, the duration of a 2,000-meter race, they pit themselves against a machine which measures their capacity for work.
5:55, 4, 3, 33. 1, stop! 4, 8.
They really, literally go from a state of rest, apart from maybe a bit of apprehension, to a state of total exhaustion and near unconsciousness.
35. 5:55. 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop.
For the first 3 or 4 minutes, I think it's probably true to say that the body can cope in a state of equilibrium, but it's probably the last 25% that the crunch comes.
5:55. 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop.
Experienced oarsmen will say in the last part of the race that they go through a barrier of pain and they have tunnel vision, they're not seeing so well. It's probably just as well, otherwise they may not be able to finish.
Setting up. Are you ready? Rope.
Of the country's 2,500 rowers, only 29 are called to trials. Most have made it here by virtue of their winning form at the national champs. But some, like Barry Mabbott, are here to prove that a loss in form at the nationals was a passing aberration.
37.
Last year, as a member of the New Zealand 8, he'd won gold at the World Champs. It seemed then that he could look with confidence to repeating that effort at the Los Angeles Olympics. Instead, he was now faced with a do-or-die effort just to hang on to his place in the crew.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. 40.
Fred Strawn, the selector for over 20 years, knew the signs only too well. Rowers battling to hold themselves together while the body continued its slide toward total exhaustion.
Now then. Yeah.
It could sometimes be as much as 10 minutes before the rower was able to stand. The weekend's trial had just begun.
What you're trying to do in your own mind as an athlete is establish priorities, and the number one priority really is to get on the ergometer and set up a good score, because what that does do is make the selectors look at you. If you go on there and you come up with half a score of everybody else, you're almost going to consider yourself in the rubbish can before you start. So you've got to go put in a big score, and it forces them to look at you. And what you do then is you go out and make sure you spread yourself over the day and a half or the 2 days of rowing in the 8s or 4s or whatever they're going to put you in, and just be careful that you don't blow yourself to bits.
Though the style is grace, the content is pure grit. Only the talent of superb oarsmen made it look easy, and present at the trials were some of the best in the world. In the trials that weekend, reputations counted for nothing. It was Mabbott the selectors worked harder than anyone else. In a system which saw rowers replaced at regular intervals, Mabbott's constant presence on the water was evidence of how far he was pushed. Inevitably, the strain would tell.
1 minute.
At the end of the weekend's trial, there would be only one change to the 8. Barry Mabbott was out.
You ain't another but a hound dog, crying all the time. You ain't another but a hound dog, crying all the time. Well, you ain't never gonna rest, you ain't no place of mine.
With the world-beating combination of the past 2 years virtually unchanged, there was every reason for optimism. Victories in '82 and '83 had proved they were the best rowers in the game, but greatness would come in 1984 with victory at the Los Angeles Olympics. In a sport which already boasted an international record next to none, their win would be the crowning glory. Weeks before they'd even taken their first strokes as the Olympic 8, they were being hailed as New Zealand's best bet for gold. But despite the confidence, there were reminders that only one New Zealand 8 had ever carried off an Olympic gold medal. It had been a 12-year wait in the Olympic arena. There was every reason to believe the wait would soon be over.
8 minutes past 9 at Radio Waitaki, and a very good welcome and good morning to Dudley Story, manager of the Olympic rowing team, to Los Angeles. Good morning, Dudley.
Good morning, Jerry. How are you this morning?
In the weeks leading up to Los Angeles, team manager Dudley Story, a former Olympic gold medalist himself, put his own business on hold and hit the road. A veritable salesman of rowing, he took every opportunity he could to spread the word.
What I would really like to see, of course, is 3 million Kiwis getting out of bed at 5 o'clock on Monday, August the 5th, wearing a little Kiwi pin that I hope they'll buy from the Oamaru Rowing Club, and making sure that they can sit there and say, well, come on, Kiwis, if it doesn't look too good for us.
That's great. Well, we wish you all the best of luck, Dudley, and your team, and hope that we take not just 1, but 2 or 3 medals at the Olympics.
Thanks very much.
Lion Brewery's Race Call.
New Zealand rowing had grown strong on the efforts of men like Dudley Story. More often than not unpaid, and frequently at considerable personal cost. As at ease in boardrooms as he is in pubs, he had embarked on a nationwide campaign to raise $50,000. Seemed there was nothing he wouldn't do to help the cause.
You have it off my back. Right?
In the very citadel of Saturday afternoon sport, he collected friends as well as money for rowing. The happy outcome at this Greymouth pub was $500 raised in little more than an hour. Story's assured style enabled him to make acceptable raids upon their wallets. He also left an indelible memory in many a barroom. The locals would certainly not forget the 8 on the day. He was not alone in his endeavours. The 8 might be a sporting elite, they were hardly privileged. Training for the Olympics still had to take its place alongside the necessity to make ends meet. For some like Herb Stevenson, combining the two was no easy matter.
We unfortunately got not really much to replace it with. I think we're going to have to cut that one.
His job as a horticultural advisor kept him in Tauranga where crops
back.
and clients required his daily attention.
We'll cut that right off there. We could leave that part
As a
in
member
there
of the New
growing.
Zealand 8, he was also required
Cut it off
75
there.
kilometres away for
But again,
training
we're
on
getting
Lake
a fair way
Karapiro. For 2 months, he would have to make the trip each day, after work. They all faced similar pressures. Fitting work around training was a regime they had become used to over the years. The fact that this crew was on a hat-trick of world titles in an Olympic year made no difference to the routine. As the training intensified, the winter air carried the sounds of a more aggressive and determined 8. Rowing was still carried out after work, but now it often carried on into the night.
These are the results we had back this week here in the two interesting ones, if you like.
For coach Harry Mahon and crew Dr. Mike Bowen, the regular physicals on the crew were one of those vital extras fitted around the long days of part-timers.
One guy that, you know, perhaps a little concerned about is Nigel, where he's started off fairly low and his graph is just going up. And he was the one guy that...
The tests are basic, the bare minimum by overseas standards, but here the bare minimum is all that is asked. Austerity breeds faith in the raw ability of the oarsman. It was argued that the Russian boycott of the Olympics had handed the New Zealanders the gold medal on a plate. But while they trained alone on Lake Karapiro, on the other side of the world, the rivals were already racing. In Europe, the Canadians had broken the world record. A day later, the Americans had beaten the crack East German crew. There was no doubt in the minds of this crew that winning gold in Los Angeles was far from certain. The final days of training, there was a renewed urgency. Time trials had proved they were ready, as fast, if not faster, than last year. But running time trials is one thing, racing another. It would be on the Olympic course that they would get their first opportunity to race, and the news from Los Angeles was not encouraging. While the American public could happily ignore the Soviet boycott, rowing officials could not. It seemed that with the reduced number of entries, the first and only race for the New Zealanders would be the final. Midsummer in the City of the Angels. Bustle, heat, smog, and the 23rd Olympiad. The Americans had promised the world a Games to remember. They would be the most strictly policed, as well as the most unashamedly patriotic.
Another day in the high 70s as Los Angeles warms up for the 1984 Olympics in 2 weeks. And say the good news, in 4 weeks, they'll all be over. Paul McCartney playing games of a different kind here at KHJ.
All I need is one ticket.
Los Angeles is one of the world's largest urban sprawls. Venues for the Games were scattered over a radius of 250 kilometers. To avoid traveling huge distances in the heat, the New Zealanders had decided not to live in the Olympic Village. Instead, they arranged their own accommodation just 15 minutes drive from the rowing venue. It put them offside with the Olympic Organizing Committee from the outset. To local fishermen, Lake Casitas was a patch of clear water in barren semi-desert. But in the land of instant coffee and instant divorce, instant landscape was no problem. In a matter of weeks, the facilities for international competition went up, and the desert was transformed into instant lush. But like every other venue at these games, the first thing in place was the security.
mine and we lock them up every day.
See your badge?
65 blue.
Throughout the duration of the games, it will be a constant battle of wits.
I don't need a tag for today. I'm going to left mine.
You don't have your badge?
I've gone and left it on the TV, hanging on it. Yep.
Where is it?
On the TV at home. On the TV.
Oh, you left it at home.
Oh yeah. I need an identity tag for the day.
Okay. Well, what you have to do is. I'm sorry, but you have to go down to the trailer again.
Yeah, right.
Go on the outside and just get a little badge.
Coach, where's your badge?
It was a case of cock-a-hoop colonials versus security-conscious Americans.
All right, looks good. I'll just go through a personal pictures.
Okay.
Good.
Right.
Okay, so what you have to do is just walk along here and just go down.
Eventually,
to the
they
second
would
gate,
settle upon
go
a
down into
truce,
the trailer, and
but
they'll
not
give you a
before the
little badge.
colonials had made it clear that nothing was sacred. Not even the multi-terrain security vehicles. They were the first crew to arrive at Lake Casitas and immediately set about making the place their own. Within days, the antics of the rowers in black and white had ensured that they were indeed the team to watch.
Push off now.
Their last training sessions in New Zealand had been in temperatures as low as 5 degrees. On Lake Casitas, by mid-morning, temperatures had climbed into the mid-30s. As well as adjusting to the change in climate, the 8 had to reacquaint themselves with the boat that had carried them to the 2 previous world titles. The big yellow M Packer had only just arrived from Europe, where it had been in storage since last year. Transport costs prohibited bringing it back to New Zealand just for training. There, they had to make do with a borrowed boat, which had few of the peculiarities of the M Packer. It was one of the fastest and most sensitive racing skiffs in the world. Like all finely engineered racing machines, it would take days of tuning.
The stroke size seems to be low, but it's like
Feel high.
people in the right place. They will measure low. And there's no one on stroke side who feels tight. And bow side measures high, and we've got 2 on bow side who feel tight. And then you'll feel.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Well, do it that way first, and if they find they've got enough height, or if they're finding it a bit hard to hold it in the water, then we pick their seat up.
But if you put a skate up, you'll be higher up water.
Find out what the height
is.
seat up first. Yeah, right. We'll do those 2 then,
because they mightn't be extraordinary.
It often came down to trial and error. An adjustment at one end of the boat could have marked effects at the other.
That frees up one of them, and the other one feels it's got too much. Or just put.
Well, yesterday did I feel good?
Still weren't right. Well, I shouldn't make a difference.
Yeah, that's when I thought it was fairly level.
Suggests to me this morning when it's sitting level.
Good for me then. I thought it was pretty level.
It's pretty crucial that we get it right. The oars have just got to be sitting in the water right, otherwise you tend to get a bit of water flying around and people tend to be a bit uncomfortable, and when you're doing sort of 38, 39 strokes per minute, you've got to make sure that you're right on.
Some adjustments seem more intuitive than exact. But each excursion onto the water brought the boat closer to perfect pitch.
Oh, like your badge, Chief. Bit over 6 5/8. Bit over. 16th over.
Rigging was one of those technical difficulties which was all in a day's rowing. They could take that in their stride. But at Lake Casitas there was another problem, completely unexpected. Regularly each morning, the wind swept in from the desert. By afternoon it had made rowing on the lake virtually impossible. Olympic officials had ducked the problem by scheduling all races before 10:30. But for the crew, there could be no let-up from the twice-daily workout on the water. For coach Harry Mahon, already shore-bound by regulations preventing coaching boats on the lake, It was a frustrating time. Eventually, he'd be left with no option. All training sessions would have to be restricted to the mornings. The New Zealanders did, however, enjoy one strategic advantage. Other teams were unable to move without being sealed in a presidential-style cavalcade. For them, the long, hot bus rides and constant security presence were the price of Olympic status. Such regimentation was not for the Kiwis. Outside the Olympic security blanket, they went for a much less formal approach. Their hijinks set them apart and boosted their camaraderie. They had adapted to the hype of the Californian Olympics by simply ignoring it.
Oh, they're in marvellous shape at this stage. They're really looking good. Just starting to get a little tired in the last few days. I think this is more of a mental factor than a physical factor. One of the problems they've got here is the rowing's all being performed in the morning, so they've got a long afternoon and evening to fill in, and so this is an area we'll have to sort of spend a little time thinking about sort of how to utilise this time without getting completely bored.
And for a lovelier table, there's dinnerware. From Gobel of West Germany, manufacturer of world-famous porcelain dinnerware, goes from freezer to oven to table, a complete service for 8 in the beautiful celandine pattern from Hummelwerk. And the whole family will enjoy this snowmobile. From Polaris, you'll blaze many snow trails with the new Cutlass.
With afternoon temperatures reaching 35 to 40 degrees, there was little the oarsmen could do but rest up indoors.
And this showcase can be yours if the price is right.
And American television was no antidote to boredom.
You want to what? You want to ask your husband how much. Now, where is your husband?
After all their preparation, the oarsmen had come unexpectedly to a standstill.
You want to know?
It's a time for dreams to come true on Days of Our Lives, followed by Another World weekdays.
A captive audience, resigned to the matinee madness.
Food that looks like prime meat, chews like prime meat. Meaty tasting, tender chunks. No wonder dogs love it so. Give me, love me, tender chunks, 'cause I love it so. From Kennel Ration.
When in the evening temperatures fell sufficiently for bored oarsmen to venture out, they pursued their relaxation with characteristic madcap vigor. But the time for diversions was fast coming to an end. As thousands of spectators and athletes crammed the Los Angeles Coliseum for the extravaganza opening of the 1984 Olympics, the New Zealand rowing team chose to watch it on television. With racing only 2 days away, the 140-kilometre trip south to the stadium would interrupt training.
And it may look like the land rush, which is going to begin right through the outline of this country. From the west this time, the Saints.
Because of the way the stadium's laid out, they're settling the east from the west.
Listen. Runners, New Zealand, Jim.
Yes, look at the lady in the wheelchair very closely, because she is an athlete on the New Zealand team, Neroli Fairhall. There's John Walker, turned and rolled a great American cast. Look, so they've come to settle the west.
They were no longer alone at the lake. crews that till now had been training inland homed in on Casitas. They too were determined to put their stamp on the place. The atmosphere within the athletes' area was one of friendly weariness. Opponents who for so long had been anonymous now became neighbours. In the front line or on the periphery, everyone was watching everyone else. The New Zealanders' earlier fears that too few entries would rule out any chance of a heat had been allayed. The place was full to overflowing. With 7 starters confirmed in the 8s, they were now assured of a test in real competition before the final. Not that many there believed they needed it. As world champions, they were clearly the favourites, and they had already established a commanding presence at the venue. They intended to keep it that way with a calculated show of bravado.
I don't know if they went out in black this morning. We sort of set up we thought the Canadians may have been here this morning and we had them all ready to go, but if the Canadians were here, who was going to be first on the water? But guys in black, they were going to have the black long sleeves on with New Zealand down the side, so everybody knew who was going out on the water. All the New Zealand chiefs.
Good in, hold it down, push off now.
I saw quite a lot of people having a look at them, and it just sort of focuses in on them a bit stronger than what they normally are. And I think they rode it off really well this morning. If I'd been watching, I'd have been put a bit of a concern in your mind if that's how good they're going to be when they go to racing. I think that's what we're looking to do.
I hope more people watch us all the time, because you got to watch the crew that's going to win, and hopefully that's us, or that's the direction that we're certainly trying to head in.
By the morning of the heat, there was little doubt that they were physically in shape.
To decide on completely is the actual.
Now is the time for putting strategies to the test.
Whether it's a decided break right down to 36, or whether it's 2, and I think 2. It's up to you, but I think after the half minute, she's down 2, and that'll be about 38, 39 probably, and then after the minute down 2 again. Otherwise, I think it's pretty straightforward as to what we've been doing, the same as you've been looking to do the whole time, which is you move at you control thinking at the 500, which sets you up for that technique 500, all right? And it's really most important that you think technique all the way through there, and you're going with the crew, but you're working hard, but you're thinking technique, you're thinking leg drive and lean. 1,000 metres, and you've got the movement or the move that's on, and it's a decided break, and that's to be decisive, in which you're not going to suddenly hammer the shit out of the thing, but you're going to start to apply more power and apply more power effectively than even what you were doing it before, possibly. The whole thing started in '82 with the move on the Russians, who are not here obviously, and which meant the last part of the race was virtually taken care of. If it's not, well, you just have to pull something out, that's all. Get yourself strong out at the start. You talked about relaxation, and then drive it out from that. I think you should be able to get a lead on the start. And once you got that lead, you just sort of sit with it.
Even though they were certain of a place in the final, the heat was not simply a test of strategies.
You know, the New Zealand trait is always to win, regardless. We have this little saying that if you practice coming second, you'll finish second all the time, and the idea is to go out there and win the heat. So I'm sure Harry will have been saying, particularly with Canada being so fast, and Great Britain, the best way to put the first nail in their coffin is to beat them today.
Great Britain, New Zealand, the crew from France. Just not a little bit off guard.
We got caught off too.
Yeah.
We got caught off
100 meter mark.
Yeah.
The water is chopped up very slightly from this crosswind. It's going to feel like a headwind to the athletes. I don't expect the time will be extremely fast. The 1,250 meter mark, it is Canada, and they have almost a third of a length lead over second place Great Britain over lane 1. But right in the middle, just laying in wait, appears to be that crew from New Zealand. All right, now it's New Zealand making a move. And what a move they're making. It's incredibly. They've gone past Great Britain in 5, 6, 7 strokes. They've gone from 1 feet, 2 feet. There's no question about it. New Zealand is going after the leader, Canada.
2 feet at a time.
Yeah. It's going to be dead even, New Zealand and Canada.
Took a lot there. About 3/4 of the length. Yeah, right.
New Zealand now leads Canada by 1/4 of a boat length, but Great Britain remains just a half a length behind New Zealand, the current leader. But Canada is not falling back. It's still just a 1/4 of a length. There they go. Now New Zealand's in their final sprint. It's just barely a length lead at this point. Canada in second place, the full length lead over Great Britain in third place, and a half a length of open water over France in fourth place. It appears the unofficial winner will be New Zealand. Second will be Canada, lane 3. White margin of open water, third place.
Not given to outbreaks of ecstasy, Story and Mahon were nonetheless more than satisfied.
Yep. It's a good one,
By contrast, the crew were beside themselves. From the bow, Nigel Atherfold couldn't believe how well the plan had worked.
You don't really want to be more than 2/3 of a length behind. And it must have been getting pretty close to that. I'm just sitting waiting for the 1,000, and he called it moving, and within about the first 5 strokes, we bloody shot straight back up to him. Bloody good.
Looked great on the telly because it was 2 feet at a time.
Yeah, it was amazing. Because I don't know how they were feeling, but when we took off.
Well, how fast did we go?
We went faster.
5:48, they went
Oh,
5:51.
Almost 52, 5:51.98.
Their anxieties seemed to have been buried with their opponents.
So I think, the move was devastating.
They could now begin to believe, as we did, that the final was indeed theirs.
How I felt physically was that almost we're doing it so economic, you're almost bloody just cruising.
Yeah, we were.
That's how I felt. I just bloody so easy. And perhaps we need to just even it out a bit more.
What do you think, Chris?
Well, I did exactly what I wanted to do.
That's
good.
It was good. It's bloody excellent. I mean, it's great. But it's just okay. Well, we've only got one more race to reach our full potential. That's all we're saying. We want to put the very top performance that we can ever put on the line on Sunday. So it's not, what you did was really great. What you want to do is next time is even better, one better.
If we did lose well, and we row well, losing, then it is a better crew that's beaten us, and that's fair enough. But I think that if we row to our best, then the other crew is going to be going pretty fast to beat us.
You get a sort of a bit of a hunter sort of instinct getting near this time. The waiting a couple of days before is difficult because your anxiety level mounts and you think, how are we going to do it? But the closer you get to the time, the more you're thinking, right, let's get stuck into this thing. And I'm starting to feel better and better. We just had a bit of a team meeting together and just not a big rah-rah high profile thing, just pretty low. But the guys just starting to feel their strengths and feel that we're going to come through tomorrow pretty well.
this morning, they're just so relaxed. You know, it's just unbelievable. They just come down here and it's just as though it's another day. And that's really what we've been saying all along. The Olympics is just another race with a fancier name. And, well, we'll know in a couple of hours what's going to happen.
Winners of the gold medals and Olympic champions, the team from New Zealand.
It's a hush over the starting line area now as the crews are just making their final preparations. We can throw away the programs in the books now.
Canada's going crazy. 250 meters to go. It's Canada by a third of a boat length. The USA is moving. New Zealand, Australia tied for third. It's coming close to the finish line. It is Canada. The USA sprinting on. They're moving. They're moving. It's going to be close at the finish, but unofficially, it will be Canada, the USA, Australia, New Zealand, Great Britain, France, and Chile. And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. The final rowing event of the 23rd Olympic Games.
Médaille d'or et championne olympique, l'équipe du Canada.
Winners of the gold medal and Olympic champions, the team from Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of the national anthem of Canada.
Mesdames, Messieurs, veuillez vous lever pour l'hymne national du Canada.